MMA boxing talk here. It's been a while since I put out a video. I've been enjoying the holidays. I had it off first time in 5 years. Was off for Christmas, so that was great. Um, wow, crazy night of fights last night. We all saw what happened to Ronda. I'm not a Ronda fan whatsoever, but I do feel bad for her. Holy shit, that was embarrassing. And then in the co-main event, Dominick Cruz. Just got outclassed by Cody Garbrandt. I mean, my mind was blown watching that fight because literally it looked like Garbrandt was making Cruz miss like Cruz makes everyone miss. You know, all of Cruz's opponents, including TJ Dillashaw, were swinging at air, and they swing at air and they miss completely and they look ridiculous. That was Dominick Cruz trying to hit Cody Garbrandt. Um, and it's interesting, we all I don't know if we all know this, but Dominick Cruz's style, the way he when his opponent is coming at Cruz, Cruz backs off and he uses evasiveness and footwork. But when the opponent is patient and calm, which doesn't happen very often, it seems, against Cruz's opponents, they all want to come in and take his head off. Cruz goes on the attack. When his opponent is neutral, and he always goes on the attack. That's what he does. He attacks when the opponent's not doing anything, and he retreats when they attack. So in this fight, Garbrandt was so poised, so calm. I mean, it was truly remarkable to see Garbrandt just toy with him. There was the one, I think in the fourth round, there's that point where Cruz misses a good 5, 6, 7 punches, all missing completely in the span of like 10 seconds. And then Garbrandt, hands down, ducking and dodging all of them. He looked like Roy Jones Jr. At some points in there. It was unbelievable, and even if Garbrandt wouldn't have taunted Cruz at all, he still would have been an embarrassing loss for Cruz because knowing how this guy wins his fights, he's, the best defensive fighter in the UFC. He's, the decision machine, but he knows how to win rounds. And the fact that Garbrandt just won, I think, you could argue Cruz won 2 rounds, but the 3 rounds that Garbrandt won were so obvious. I found even the first round, I thought Garbrandt won that. Cruz did get a takedown, but so did Garbrandt. Garbrandt dropped him in the first round. It was really quick, but he dropped him. He hurt him. He was landing heavier shots. I think I gave the second round to Cruz. And it's tough because I'm a huge Dominick Cruz fan. That's the reason why I didn't put out a prediction video for this fight. I was so torn. Obviously, I was a Cruz fan well before I became a fan of Garbrandt. I am a big fan of Garbrandt. I'm very high on the kid. I never in a million years would have guessed that he would win a unanimous decision against Dominick Cruz in that manner. I don't think anyone did, to be quite honest, or not too many people. No one on YouTube really anyway. Shout out to Kobe's Corner because, he actually picked Garbrandt to win in his prediction video. He wasn't certain on it. He wasn't, very, he didn't confirm that Garbrandt was going to win for sure. It's tough to do that because, he had never faced the level of competition like Dominick Cruz. And, it was interesting because a lot of people said before this fight that Garbrandt, was not experienced enough. And I remember thinking, I don't think it ever matters. I don't think you'll ever be experienced to face a guy as unorthodox as Dominick Cruz. Let's be honest here. It doesn't matter if you're 25 or you're 33, you're never going to be ready for a guy like Dominick Cruz. His style is so different than anyone else. You can't mimic it. You can come close. You think you're coming close, but his footwork is on a different level. You just have to have the natural abilities to close the gap quickly, have that explosion and the power and the poise and the well-roundedness. Like Cody Garbrandt's a very well-rounded fighter, and I knew that coming into this fight. But with the timing of Dominick Cruz, with his takedowns, I thought he could get the better of him. TJ Dillashaw is a great wrestler, and Cruz took him down, I believe, 4 times. So it was interesting to see Garbrandt just stuff. I think they said seven takedowns. They actually didn't score any takedowns for Dominick Cruz because when he did get that first takedown in the first round, he didn't secure it whatsoever. And that was just showing Garbrandt's explosiveness, even on the ground. Unbelievable. It was truly a treat to watch Cody Garbrandt in there. I mean, he just blew my mind. I thought, if anything, he would wear Cruz down early and get a finish, maybe in the second round, third round. Like, I didn't even think that would be, I thought if it was going into the third round, it'd be very tough for Garbrandt to win a decision at that point. But he just outclassed him. It was unbelievable. I was in shock for most of that fight. Before this fight, like I said, I was so torn. I didn't put out a prediction video. I mean, I felt that Cody Garbrandt could pull it off with a stoppage, maybe catch him lucky. I thought, he has 25 minutes to catch him clean on the jaw. He just has to be calm and patient. But I wouldn't say he hit him at will, but he was hitting him when he wanted to. He really was, and his accuracy was definitely a little bit better. I want to hear your thoughts. I mean, this is something that, like I said, not too many people would have ever thought he could win such a clear-cut unanimous decision against Dominick Cruz. It's mind-blowing shit. I don't think Dominick Cruz really should get the next title shot. I think give it to TJ Dillashaw. He's done more than enough to prove that he's ready for another title shot. It really should have been Dillashaw fighting tonight. Now I think, you match him up against Garbrandt. I think that's a great fight. After the fight, what was it that Cody Garbrandt said? He said, TJ Dillashaw, come try me, motherfucker. That's going to be a great fight. Both guys, young, primed. I favor Garbrandt. It's going to be tough to beat that guy. Really tough. I mean, he was taking shots in exchanges and still landing at the end of the exchanges, which is something that Dominick Cruz has been so good at in the past. Landing at the end of exchanges, winning the end of exchanges. It looks good on the judge's scorecard, and you always get, the last shot in. It's just something that he always does, and Garbrandt was doing that to him. This is a little bit longer than I wanted to. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, but one thing I've always had is a good judge of character. And, I realized Garbrandt a while back, before the Almeida fight, that this kid really had what it took. And, you could just, when you watch a lot of interviews and you hear people talk, open up, you get to, know what their character is like a little bit more. And how they're raised. And, some people are just bred to be fighters. Cody Garbrandt was bred to be a fighter his whole life. Not everyone's like that, For example, Ronda. I mean, she wasn't, she was an Olympian, judo. I mean, it's different, It's not a real fight when you're talking like MMA or boxing, It's different. So, I can't really say Ronda was bred to be a fighter in the sense that have that fighter's mentality, that mental toughness, that super confident. And Garbrandt has that confidence, just like Conor McGregor. Dominick Cruz, I don't really know if he had that confidence coming into this fight. He was owning Garbrandt with the build up, the lead up to the fight. But I kind of felt that Dominick Cruz was pulling out all the stops here before the fight, trying to really make sure that Garbrandt came into this fight emotional. And I didn't see Dominick Cruz doing that to his past opponents. Yes, he would get under their skin, but I didn't feel Dominick Cruz, like I said, was pulling out all the stops. He was pulling out all the stops against Cody Garbrandt because I think he was worried. And a calm, poised Cody Garbrandt in there he knew it was going to be trouble for him, even though not a lot of people did. I mean, including myself. If I was that confident Garbrandt was going to win, I would have put out a prediction video. I was so torn, and it's tough to go against Dominick Cruz. He'd never been knocked out before. Unbelievable. That's what I love about MMA, though. It always, it never ceases to amaze me. Some of these fights, you get these wild upsets, and it's fun to see upset unanimous decisions. That's something that no one predicts. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. If you were to say Garbrandt KO, well, that was the most likely the most likely thing to happen before this fight was Garbrandt by KO if he was going to win. But a UD, a clear-cut unanimous UD against Dominick Cruz. I know I said it so many times, but unbelievable. I just wanted to put out my take on this. It's a really big fight. If you actually go back, my first video I ever made was a preview video on the bantamweight division right before Dominick Cruz fought TJ Dillashaw for the title. And I was a huge Cruz fan at the time, of course. You know, I was a fan well before that. But, I mean, this is a guy who I'm a huge fan of. I love boxing. He has an interesting boxing style. You know, he mimics Ali. He mimics Willie Pep. He's taken from these guys to make his own style, make it work in MMA. And it was funny because Cruz, ever since the beginning, when, you know, he gets his name announced before the fight, he is a boxer wrestler. And Garbrandt made the comment that it's kind of I don't know what the word he said. It's kind of embarrassing for boxing for him to call himself a boxer wrestler, because I don't think Cruz boxed in the amateurs. But regardless of that, you know, his like hands always at the hips, throwing punches from the hips, very awkward. It's not fundamentally sound boxing, but he took from the footwork and the stances of boxing, not so much the punch technique. But anyway, it's interesting though. I mean, I don't know where Dominick Cruz goes from here. You know, he's obviously not done. Hats off to him for being a class act in the press conference afterwards. But I mean, I don't know if he waits, he sits out for a little bit and fights the winner of Garbrandt and Dillashaw, or maybe he wants to stay active and maybe fight the winner of someone like, I don't know, Rivera Caraway is coming up this month. 2 weeks from now, maybe he'll fight the winner while he's waiting around. But I'd like to see definitely TJ Dillashaw fight Cody Garbrandt. For a while now, I've always thought that would be the best matchup at 135. Just two young guys. But after the performance Cody Garbrandt put on, I mean, it's going to be even that much better of a fight. It's going to be a chess match. Two elite fighters in their primes, at their best. Can't wait for that to go down. Hopefully that will be like March, April, if we're lucky. Let me know what you guys think. That's it for this one. If you like the video, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.